I watched your daughter Ivanka this morning, and she had to say, "My dad's not a groper." Now, this is referring to a New York Times hit piece. I have, in the last 3 days, interviewed 3 people that know you well, 2 that were featured prominently in that piece. We have Roanne Brewer-Lane, Carrie Prejean, and a woman that actually came from war-torn Bosnia that worked for you and was a vice president for you, Sonata Adzom.
Right.
3 women. They were absolutely livid at the New York Times piece. We now discover that this particular writer had been tweeting negative things about you. This is supposed to be the paper of record, 20 pages, and it's now been completely debunked. Does that anger you?
Well, first of all, I have to thank those women, Roanne and Carrie and all of them.
Yeah.
Because they were written about, and they
the
were
girl
furious.
from Utah, too.
And you know, usually, and the girl from Utah has just, they said I kissed her on the lip, I guess in front of her parents, with thousands of people. And now she's come out and said, this is crazy. By the way, you know, it's not like the worst things, okay? You look at what Clinton's gone through with all of the problems and all of the things that he's done. But it was so, to read this piece on the front page of the New York Times, which was, I think, their most read story in the last year, according to what they say, and to read, and to have these young women come out and say, that didn't happen, that's not what we said, that's not what it was the intent. And I was so furious that that's true, because there's nobody that respects women more than I do, Sean. You know that. And I treat women with respect, and we all have fun, we all have good times, we say, and I'm also in the entertainment business and certain things. As an example, they have me making a statement about we're going to essentially stop them, or we're going to say something very nasty. I was talking about either China or Mexico. I was talking about one of the countries because they've been ripping us off. That was their punchline for this commercial, this phony commercial paid for by Wall Street, by the way, I have to tell you, paid for out of a super PAC. And they put a commercial on about the women.
They're going to spend $130 million.
Oh, yeah. But just so you understand, the main punchline wasn't about women. So they put it in like it was about women, you know, with a blank. They put it in like it was about women. Now I guess they have to do a retraction. These are dishonest people. These are really dishonest people. Nobody respects women more than I do. Are you demanding a retraction
from the New York Times?
We are already talking to the New York Times. The New York Times is very upset because it turned out to be a total con job. The piece was a con job. And, you know, it's one thing, it's inside the paper, because that happens to me all the time, especially with the Times, and frankly, I could mention plenty of others. But, you know, if you're a Republican conservative, it's very, very hard to get good press, that I can tell you. You are...
I speak from experience.
Shunned. No, I'm telling you, it's really unfair. But this was a con job. But just think of it, these women, instead of just saying, oh, that's too bad, who cares, they were incensed that they were portrayed the way they were portrayed. And all of them got up and said, we respect Donald Trump, we really like Donald Trump. He did absolutely nothing wrong. And they're writing. Now, here's the thing. Anybody reading that story, Sean, they make me look bad.
But Carrie and particularly Roanne both said they purposefully manipulated what they were saying and that they did it on purpose because they had said just the opposite.
I thought it was so amazing because I saw Carrie on your show, and Roanne has been all over. And I didn't speak to her specifically, okay, because I didn't think it would be good if I called her to thank her. I didn't want to do that and let this go by, and I will absolutely. But I will tell you, to think what they did, they put themselves out on the line to do this, for me. And I haven't spoken to them in many years. So I just have such respect for them. But it just shows you, I'll tell you, it's been a disaster for the New York Times. Because the New York Times is a whole big con job.
But this is going to be the campaign. The Clintons are known for being very dirty.
But the good thing about this sets the table. You know, this sort of sets the stage. People have seen this. People have seen Carrie. They've seen Roanne. They've seen others now that are coming forward that were mentioned in that story, which frankly wasn't even that bad, if you want to know the truth. It's not like, I hope that people that haven't read it...
It was 20 pages printed.
No, but I mean, in one case, I don't know, it's like minor stuff. I said to one of the women, I said, don't eat, you shouldn't have a piece of candy. Okay, that was...
I tell my kids that all the time.
How do you compare that against Clinton, okay, what Clinton's done?
What about what Clinton's done? How big an issue should that be in the campaign? For example, I looked at the New York Times. Are they going to interview Juanita Broaddrick? Are they going to interview Paula Jones? Are they going to interview Kathleen Willey? In one case, it's about exposure. In another case, it's about groping and fondling and touching against a woman's will.
And rape.
And rape.
And big settlements, massive settlements.
$850,000 for Paula Jones.
And lots of other things. And impeachment for lying.
Smearing, besmirchment of women.
And losing your law license. You know, he lost his law license, okay? Couldn't practice law. And you don't read about this on Clinton.
Let me ask you.
Now, the New York Times, and if you look at Stephanopoulos, these are like the pipe organs for Hillary Clinton. Stephanopoulos, I get on a show the other day. It started, I couldn't believe it, and I actually said to him, look, obviously you're representing your, you know, he gave a lot of money to the foundation. He did a lot of, he never told anybody, but you look at some of the people, the dishonesty. I'll tell you what, I'm in a pretty tough business, real estate. I meet some tough people, but I have never seen lies and deception like I see in not only with the people, not only with the politicians, but when you're in politics, it is a deceiving, it's really a pretty rough profession. And I will say this, the political press, worse than anything else, is the political press and dishonesty.
Exit question, would you consider suing them?
Well, they're talking to us right now, so we'll see what happens. But they know. I think the Times actually, look, they got caught in a very bad situation.